Well, well, well. We are back again. Yep, and we should be not live, but recording, right? And we're gonna talk politics. Yes. Yeah, we know. Or should I say politricks? Because, of course, when you know politics, when you genuinely know it, you know it will never, ever, ever work. It can't work. The system is developed so it will never work. And by never work, I mean never work for me and you. The only people that gain in the political landscape is the corrupt politicians and the people who pay them, usually to further the agenda. Shock horror. History will tell you this. And lately, it's been through the roof, if you like, into complete insanity. I mean, you would think if you're anything, if you're anything like me, you would think, well, it can't get any worse, right? Hold that thought. It gets worse. I shouldn't laugh, but day by day, week by week, month by month, year after year, we go further into a tyrannical world, this dystopian 1984 world that we're in. It continues to drive to a point of complete control, to the point where you're not allowed to think a certain way. You're not allowed to speak a certain way. You're not allowed to hate, which is basically a feeling. They don't even want you to have any feeling anymore. What do they want us to be? Androids? Yeah, I guess if they turn us into androids, some kind of robotic human, then we're we're easier to replace with an android, an actual android. So I guess watch this space, right? So the other day we had Mr. Trump, Donald Trump card up in court, and I mean, talk about theatre, right? And I watched a wee bit. Um, Kind of hard to watch, to be honest, but out of interest and I guess for research purposes, if you like, I kept an eye on it, and I noticed even the media were they were calling it, referring to it as a circus. The whole thing is like one big circus, right? And I couldn't help but remember, and I can't remember who's quoted as saying it, but there's a quote out there somewhere, or a saying, or a phrase, if you like, and it refers to how, yeah, the circus is there and it's full of clowns. It's one big joke. But in reality, if the people did not attend the circus, it wouldn't be there. So who's really at fault? Is it the clowns at the circus? Or is it the people who go there? The people who attend it? The people who pay to see it? Are they the real issue? If people just stopped going, they would pack up and go away. So it's worth, I guess, considering, right? I noticed that I was keeping an eye on Spacebook, aka the CIA Facebook. And I mean, it's through the roof at the moment in terms of division between pro Trump, anti Trump. And I guess we're like out of that circle. We're like the black sheep of society. or we don't want to take part. And I've seen a lot of people talking about how it was great entertainment. And I even commented saying, yeah, the sheeple, they love it. They love this type of entertainment. And they basically they replied, it's comical. They replied saying, "Look, you're not special." And I thought, who said anything about being special, right? But uh, because I've got a Facebook page called Fugspiracy. I made it in like 2018, and I've been keeping an eye there. And it always tends to be just pro-Trump or anti-Trump. And the division currently, it's been the volume on it has been turned right up, off the charts. Honestly, I've been keeping an eye on it, and people are mental, man. Honestly, so having that, it's been a good way to keep a kind of eye on where people are, where their minds are at. Totally brainwashed, man. That doesn't even cut it anymore. These people, they are completely blind. Completely blind. Not even color blind, just blind. Pure blind. And I laugh because I guess I was that person at one point. When I think back to maybe um 2012, 2013, then it kind of my awaken I mean, it's hard to describe when you talk about an awakening, but from about 2010, I was big into, wait a minute, what's that? Wait, that's that? That can't be right. And then I got kind of deep into politics. And then by 2014, I had seen right through it. I had well and truly seen through it. But up until maybe 2013, 14, yeah, I was pretty much fast asleep. I was never someone who liked obeying the law, let's say. I mean, I wasn't out stealing and anything like that, but I wasn't a big fan of authority. So I've always been one who pushed boundaries, if you like. And yeah, here I am today, completely disconnected with politics. And to be honest, I don't know how any adult could still be blindly, just blindly following the political landscape, thinking that it'll change, thinking that it will help them or us. It won't. It can't. It was built not to. So Trump went to court, blah, 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 guilty, blah, blah, blah. And I think a category E crime, which is like, I don't know, a hate crime maybe. I think they said the falsification of records. And it's quite funny, really. I mean, here you've got a guy who's seemingly what? A multi-millionaire, and he's falsifying records using what? Campaign money to pay off a a porn star, maybe? I think she might have been. So it's gonna be there, it's gonna be on the books, it was gonna get pulled up. See, it's all scripted, it's all theatre, no two ways about it. Because surely to God, right? I mean, come on. People can't be this stupid. Donald Trump, who's meant to be, what, a smart guy, a multimillionaire, uses campaign funds, runs it through a campaign uh, record, and makes the payment. Surely to God, he would have, anybody with half a brain cell would have paid it out with that, especially if you're a multi-millionaire. You would have took it out of all kinds of records, and you wouldn't be using money that was deemed campaign money. You would have paid it out your own pocket behind closed doors, but that never happened. It was put into a position where people would see it. Eventually, it would go to court, blah, blah, blah. Here we are. Trump is seemingly now what they call a felon, I believe, in America. And I mean, some people might think, well, that'll be the end for him. It won't be. It will not be. If anything, he will probably now go on to win the election. I think it's in November. Right, but I want to take you to a particular video. So let me add it. It's not a long video. What we'll do is we'll watch it, and then I'll kind of break it down a wee bit. So here it goes.
Another day, another corridor. Last time the news conference was in a court building with Trump, the candidate. This time it was Donald Trump, convicted felon.
When the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted. It was a rigged trial. But we're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant.
They polished the windows of Trump Tower the morning after the conviction before, for a proprietor stained by criminality. Having changed in status, he sought to change the subject.
The highest level we've ever seen of terrorists are pouring into our country. You have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country.
Fifth Avenue's most famous resident didn't say much new. He might feel he didn't have to. The day of the verdict saw Donald Trump break records on fundraising. This amidst voter backing that remains robust. Supporters were out on the street.
Trump is guilty.
So too were his opponents.
And this guy has gotten away with everything under the sun, and finally he's being held accountable.
The good thing is that we're going to go up in the numbers. We're going to go up in donations. We're going to see Trump on November 5th in a massive red wave.
In a White House news conference, President Biden gave his first public response to a rival who had railed against the U.S. justice system.
And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years, and it literally is the cornerstone of America.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir?
How American voters respond to Donald Trump's new status is, of course, key. It was a criminal conviction on the back of a grubby tale about paying a porn star to silence her story of a one-night stand. How does that play with key target constituencies for Donald Trump, like evangelical voters and suburban women? Outside Trump Tower, a Donald Trump impersonator drove by.
What great people they are here in New York, and we're going to take the city back, and we're going to take it back November 5th. God bless America.
Come on, get off the car. That's not Trump. Come on.
It wasn't long before a small crowd gathered, thinking this was the real thing. To be fair, in a place with a president criminally convicted, reality isn't what it once was.
Wow. I mean, quite a lot. What is it? How long did that go? A 3-minute video, maybe? 3 minutes, just over. And so much, so much there to unpack, to be honest. So let's take a look, actually, right? Let me see. I've got me on off mute. Let's go back. So people talk about Trump being a good guy. Oh, he's one of the people. Right. A political millionaire. One of the people. Yeah. Surely. Surely not, right? And I mean, it can be easy for these entities to mention stuff that, yeah, it's probably right. Crime is through the roof. Blah, blah, blah. But in reality, when are they going to talk about how politics will never work? It can't work. When would you ever hear a politician say that? They wouldn't. You would never hear it said. If a politician came out and said that, they would probably not see tomorrow, to be honest. So let's just kind of break it down a bit.
Another day, another corridor. Last time the news conference was in a court building with Trump, the candidate. This time it was Donald Trump, convicted felon.
When the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted.
So when they want something, they get. Does that include when he was in government? Oh no, he was totally different from any other government, right? Sure.
It's a rigged. It was a rigged trial. We're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant.
They polished the windows of Trump Tower the morning after the conviction before, for a proprietor stained by criminality. Having changed in status, he sought to change the subject.
The highest level we've ever seen of terrorists are pouring into our country. You have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country.
Fifth.
Do you know, a politician, they are masters at deception. Trump's no different. And the reporter talks about changing the subject. Yeah, they're good at that, right? Ask a politician a question and they'll automatically change the subject. If you notice there, he done a quick 666 hand sign. There it goes there, look. Yeah. But again, that would be totally nothing, right? He's no stranger to symbolism, let's put it that way, when it comes to Donald Trump. So he talks about crime. Yeah, terrorism, if you can call it that. But I guess the real terrorists are the government themselves. Any politician, any part of it is crooked, criminal. So let's just quickly look at what they really should probably talk about, but they don't. They never will. And why basically politics could never work, in my own view. So if we take this away for a sec, let me see. I could cut these bits out because it's pre-record, but we'll run with it, right? So I've got a few bits here in regards to Joe Biden, but we'll get into that. But to begin with, the kind of issues as to why politics will never work, can never work. And this gives you a good insight as to why it attracts complete and utter psychotic individuals who are the only type of people who make it in politics. By make it, I mean make it to the top of the political landscape, because they're easily corrupted. They will do whatever it takes to sell you out big time. And then when they do that, they leave with the big bank balance the mansion, the sports car, right? The rest, you can imagine. So here's basically a list of stuff that you would never hear a politician talk about in regards to the issues with politics itself. Corruption and self-interest. So anyone who's got self-interest and is easily corrupted, they'll make it. They will make it all the way to the top. People like Biden, I mean, Jesus Christ. Where do you even start? But businessmen like Donald Trump, yeah, you can see why he made it. So politicians may be more interested in personal gain or serving special interests rather than the public good. Sound familiar? Bet it does. This could lead to corruption, favoritism, and policies that benefit a few at the expense of the many. Right. So that's why people with self-interest and who are easily corrupted, they make it in politics. No two ways about it. Partnership and polarization. Increasing political polarization can result in gridlock, where opposing parties are unable to compromise, leading to legislative stalemates and a lack of progress on important issues. I bet that sounds familiar, right? Yeah, definitely here. Influence of money. The role of money in politics through campaign contributions and lobbying, which is, and I put emphasis on lobbying, that is a big, big part, can skew priorities towards wealthy donors and corporations rather than average citizens. Now, you've probably heard in the past, oh, how can they do this? We pay them. Well, not really. The big money comes from these individuals, the people who contribute their millions, and the people who lobby these politicians, the donors, the wealthy multimillionaire donors. They push the politician into what they want said, what they want done, not the average Joe, not me and you. We get sold out. When do you hear a politician talk about that? Inefficiency and bureaucracy. Governmental processes can be slow and inefficient due to bureaucracy, red tape, and complex regulatory frameworks, making it difficult to implement policies effectively. Yeah. Oh, we can't do it because red tape. Oh, we can't do it because EU law. Oh, we can't do it because the World Health Organization. Oh, we can't do it because the World Court. You get me? Short-term focus. Politicians often focus on short-term gains to win elections rather than long-term solutions. I bet that sounds familiar. Leading to policies that are more about immediate appeal than sustainable impact. And yeah, I get that one. I totally get that. Of course, when Trump came in 2016, the campaign slogan was "Make America Great Again." Yeah, for what? A year? 2 year? 4 maybe, if you're lucky. Then what? Shit hits the fan again? Did it ever get made great again? What are they saying this time? Make America great again again? No long-term solutions. Not for us. No way. Short-term BS. That's all you get. There's never any solution. Lack of accountability. Yeah, there's one. Politicians may not always be held accountable for their actions, especially if they are protected by their party or can manipulate the system to their advantage. Surely they couldn't manipulate the system? Yeah, I'll let you decide on that one. When it comes to accountability, if you consider the damage caused by the whole 2020 circus, i.e., the juice, the lockdown, what have you. I mean, what kind of accountability is there for people like, who did we have again? Was it David Cameron? I don't think it was Cameron. Was it? No, it wasn't Theresa May. It was Boris Johnson, wasn't it? We had Liz Truss for about 2 seconds. But look at what they implemented. Look at what Nicola Sturgeon and her cronies implemented. If they were to go up to court, they would not see the light of day again. But of course, what do they get? They get off scot-free. And they're all gone now. They've all moved on, played their part, got their paycheck, and left us in the shit. We need to deal with it. We've got to deal with it. It's us that fail and us that get punished by these political puppets who implement the agenda of the powers that be. Because, of course, it's not their idea. They just push it through. They're the face of it. It's not their idea. It never is. No way. Complexity of issues. Many political issues are extremely complex. Yeah, make it confusing, right? Confusing. And many have not, and may not have clear-cut solutions. Making it difficult to address them adequately through the political process. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the world that we're in. Full stop. It's complex, extremely complex. No clear-cut solutions. Media influence. Now there's one. The media can sometimes sensationalize issues or focus on conflict and scandal rather than the substantive policy decisions, distorting public perception and debate. Distorting public perception and debate. That is the media today in a nutshell. Distorting public perception. And of course, you could add to this the whole aspect of behavioral science. And if you don't know what that is, you need to look into it. Your whole world is manipulated to make you think a certain way and make certain decisions. Millions and millions and millions of pounds get spent on it to manipulate your mind into a certain way of thinking. And remember, most of you here will recall, you don't even need to MK Ultra someone. All you've got to do is manipulate the environment they live in. Then they'll make a decision. Then they'll think a certain way. You don't even need MK Ultra. So when do you ever hear a politician talk about any of this? You won't hear it, because if you did, if they did, they would be out of a job, guaranteed. So let's go back. Let's go back to the video, if I can work this screen. How do I change it? We'll take it away. Share screen. Back to the video. So let's continue. There he is, the old devil. 666. Yeah. I mean, I actually thought the verdict would be next week on Thursday, 6/6/24, kind of 6/6/6. So the 6th of June, which is next Thursday. And I'm surprised it came out as early as it did. I had actually put a tweet saying it'll probably be on the 6th of June. And then within a couple of hours, they had reached a verdict. So kind of off by a good bit. But I would not rule out something happening this Thursday, potentially in the way of volcanic eruption. So look out for it, right? I'll keep you updated on that. So let's hear a bit more.
In the history of our country.
Fifth Avenue's most famous resident didn't say much new. He might feel he didn't have to. The day of the verdict saw Donald Trump break records on fundraising. This amidst voter backing.
See, some people think he's finished now. He'll be done, and they've made a record-breaking amount of donations. They're fueling the fire, basically. It doesn't matter how they do it. They're bringing more people in to the political game, whether it be people who are against him or the people who are for him. So you've got people who are against Trump. They're out on the street. He's a criminal, going insane, completely off their head. I don't know what they've been taken, but maybe it's being sprayed. So they're out in numbers. Trump's a rapist. Trump this, Trump that. But then across the road, I mean, it's comical, man. Across the road, you've got the pro-Trump. Trump is great. Make America great again, again, again. And they're all throwing their money at him. Here you go. Take all our money. What about forget the children? Trump needs all the money we can give him. And that's shot through the roof. He's getting millions in donations. So is it working against him or is it not? It's fueling the political landscape and it's working in his favor. No two ways about it.
That remains robust. Supporters were out on the street.
Trump is guilty.
So too were his opponents.
And this guy has gotten away with everything under the sun. And finally, he's being held accountable.
The good thing is that we're going to go up in the numbers. We're going to go up in donations. We're going to see Trump on November 5th in a massive red wave.
In a White House news conference, President Biden gave his first public response to a rival who had railed against the U.S. justice system.
And it's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
Right, so let's have a look at that. It's irresponsible for anybody to say that it's rigged. And what else did he say?
Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years.
The justice system, it's as old as him. He must be, what, 250 million year old? He's like, he was here when the dinosaurs were here, sure. So if you say it's rigged, you're just unhappy with the outcome, basically, going by what Joe Biden has to say. So let's look at that. Let's look at what Joe Biden has said in the past. Because, yeah, surely he's not ever claimed anything was rigged. Sure, maybe Biden forgot. Maybe Biden needs a bit of an update, right? He needs updated. So Joe Biden, in the kind of use of the term rigged economy and tax system, Biden has frequently argued that the economy and tax systems are rigged in favor of the wealthy and corporations. For example, during his 2020 presidential campaign, he criticized the Trump administration's tax cuts, claiming they disproportionately benefited the rich and large companies. Right. So he's against all that. And it's rigged because what? He disagrees with it. So surely being president, he would have changed it. I don't think he has. Must have forgot that, right? Healthcare system. Biden has also suggested that the healthcare system is rigged against ordinary Americans. He has pointed out the high cost of prescription drugs and healthcare services, arguing that pharmaceutical companies and healthcare providers profit at the expense of consumers. Right. So healthcare patients are consumers. Ain't that interesting? Of course, the healthcare system is basically an industrial complex run by Big Pharma, and it won't make anybody better. It might to an extent, but in the long run, in the grand scale of things, it's way off the mark in terms of caring for people the way it should be done. Way off the mark. So I guess if Biden he did get president. Right, so this must have changed. He must have fixed it. He must have unrigged it. Well, no. It's probably worse today, and I shouldn't laugh, but it's probably worse now than it's ever been. Political system? Biden has talked about how the political system can be rigged against working class people, citing issues such as voter suppression, gerrymandering, and the influence of money in politics. He has advocated for campaign finance reform and measures to make voting more accessible. Right, so I guess being president, you would have fixed this. It's changed, has it? Probably not. Don't hold your breath either. Making it more accessible. Well, to who exactly? Justice system. Right. The one he claimed is not rigged. In discussions about criminal justice reform, Biden has acknowledged that the system is often rigged against people of color and the poor. He has called for changes to address systemic racism and inequality within the justice system. Right. So I guess if Donald Trump was a black guy, then Biden would agree that it was rigged. But with Trump being his opponent and being white, it's not rigged? Yeah, interesting. Of course, Biden couldn't remember yesterday. Never mind what he said years ago. I mean, the guy is. Even I find it insane that the Americans have got Biden as president, seemingly the most voted for in history. I mean, if that doesn't tell you they rig the elections, nothing will. It simply is rigged from the core, no matter what happens. And I think that pretty much proves it, to be honest. The most voted for. I mean, he must have had all the dead people in the world voting for him. Anytime you've seen Biden campaigning, it was like a rent-a-crowd. And then you had Trump. Not that I'm a fan of Trump, far from it, but there was seas of people. And then Biden ends up being the most voted for in history. I mean, it's insanely comical, but very telling at the same time. So just to quickly kind of finish off, let's go back to I've gone a bit longer than previously thought. Oh, actually, on that, not this Friday, but next, we will see the return of the Friday Fix, and it will have a segment at the end dedicated to the syndrome, the then previously fought syndrome. It will return, so look out for it, right? Let's quickly go back to the video here.
Cornerstone of America.
Mr. President, can you tell us?
So it's a cornerstone of America. The system that he said is rigged, but only against black people. Right. And this bit, I mean, this cracked me up, man. Honestly, he's finished, he's done, he's walking away, and someone's asking a question, and waiting you see his face, right?
Sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir?
He's laughing. He just laughs at it. I mean, is that an admission to, yeah, by the way, I'm in the White House. I'll decide who gets badly treated and who doesn't. I'll decide now who's rigged and who's not getting rigged, if you like. I mean, honestly, he's either admitting through his duper's delight, or he simply misunderstood the question and thought, right, smile, walk away. And yeah, would the real Joe Biden please stand up, right? Is it the janitor again? I would have got away without you pesky kids. Take his mask off, right? Strange character. So he just laughed at it. I mean, surely you wouldn't even answer or turn. You would just keep walking, but I found that quite comical.
How American voters respond to Donald Trump's new status is, of course, key. It was a criminal conviction on the back of a grubby tale about paying a porn star to silence her story of a one-night stand. How does that play with key target constituencies for Donald Trump, like evangelical voters and suburban women? Outside Trump Tower, a Donald Trump impersonator drove by.
What great people they are here in New York, and we're going to take the city back.
I think this must be the real Donald Trump. This is the real one. They've been hiding him away. Now he's out, and people basically don't even know the difference anymore.
And we're going to take it back November 5th. God bless America.
It wasn't long before a small crowd gathered, thinking this was the real thing. To be fair, in a place with a president criminally convicted, reality isn't what it once was.
What a way to end the video. Reality is not what it once was. How fitting, right? We are so far from true reality. It's hard to comprehend, honest to God. We have been led so far astray. It's completely insane, to be honest. I mean, people, all their priorities are in, they focus on the wrong issues. Time and time again. I mean, at the moment, you've got constant talk about, Palestine, Israel, Palestine, Israel. And I mean, when you've got pro-Trump and across the road, pro-Biden, then a street down the road, you've probably got pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, but nobody caring about the things that they should, basically, the stuff that really matters, more focused on other issues that don't even really affect them. I mean, you've got people in Scotland, and I guess kind of each to their own, but in the same breath, it's like, well, you won't change what's going on in Palestine. So you've got people in Scotland protesting about Palestine, but not concerned about what's going on in Scotland, not how corrupt, how criminal the political landscape is here. Oh, but Palestine, right? The children, the numbers, the deaths, the bombing. And it's one of these things that it tends to annoy me. And I'll kind of give you an example. I mean, I can understand that nobody wants innocent people to die. Nobody wants children to die. But the media has made them, the behavioral science has focused them on Palestine and Palestine alone. Or Israel, let's say. Oh, but the Israelis, oh, but October 7th, oh, but Palestine, all the children, all the bombing that's been going on since what? The 1940s? How is there anything left of Palestine at the moment? There wouldn't be. And it kind of gets frustrating to an extent, right? And I always tend to think, right, if you care about children out with Scotland and across the world, let's say, what about the amount of children in the world, right? If you want to talk about numbers and figures, what about the amount of children across the world that die, not from bombing, but from hunger? Where's the talk about that? And if they want to talk about numbers and figures, here's a stat for them to talk about. Each year, 15 million children, 15 million children die of hunger-related causes. This means that every day, every single day, throughout the world, 40,000 children die of hunger-related causes. 15 million a year. Where's the protest? Where's the flag? Where's the concern? Not a word. Not a word. But Palestine, Israel, that's a different story. 15 million children dying of hunger each year, 40,000 a day, not a word gets said. Not a word. Nobody cares about that, right? Their mind has been tuned to Palestine, Israel, and that's it. They don't care about this. They wouldn't even mention it. And to add to that, if they want to talk about, again, numbers and figures and children, I mean, it boils my blood, man. It honestly does. How about this one here? How many kids die each year from cancer? 250 children die every single day across the world from cancer. That is 91,250 deaths from childhood cancer every single year. In the US, 13,400 children are diagnosed with cancer every year. That's 46 kids diagnosed every single day. In the US, 7 children die every day from cancer. Again, where's the concern? Where's the protest? Where's the flags? Not a word. Nothing. The focus is only on what the media want them to focus on, and how they can't see that is beyond me. It's completely beyond me. I can only point to behavioral science. They've been manipulated. All they care about is what the media tell them to care about. The children that die of hunger, not a word, not a concern. No protest, no flag. Forget it. The children who die from cancer, not a word, no protest, no flag. So that's why I get frustrated. Prioritize the people, in my own view, the people's priorities, they're manipulated by the media. And quite staggering that going back to 2020, we're being told by Sky News, the BBC, blah, 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 the mainstream media, they're talking about how many people died of the super duper, you know what. I've got to watch what I'm saying here. You know, back in 2020, yeah, let's go with that. Back in 2020, they were talking about how, yeah, so many people died. Look at the figures. Here's a chart, blah, 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 flatten the curve, what have you. And everybody was pretty much in agreement across what you might call the truth movement. Oh, we're being lied to. But when they swap that round for Palestine, the war, Ukraine, the deaths, oh, that's not lies. That's not being manipulated. They believe that, but they didn't believe the circus in 2020. Do you genuinely think they're not lying again? Wake up, folks. All they do is lie. That is their job, I'm afraid. So, I'm going to wrap it up now. I went a wee bit longer than previously thought, but remember, likely I'll be back. It could be tomorrow, it could be Monday. Then I think I'll be off the whole week, wrapping up my college, and hopefully getting over the line even. But then the week after, on the Friday, and it'll be from the news stories of the week, different topics of concern, maybe. So we look at that. We have a kind of laugh about it. You can't look at the media without laughing, to be honest. So we do that. We do it in a kind of roundup format, story by story. Then at the end, we'll have a segment dedicated to the syndrome. And if you don't know what the syndrome is, again, where have you been? You'll need to check it out, right? I think we done about, 80 Friday fixes, and probably well into 30, 40 than previously thought syndromes. And a lot of them got a strike. So we're going to have to tread carefully, because the thought police will shut us down. Shock horror, right? That's the world we're in. So yeah, look out for that. And I'll keep you updated. I should be back again soon. And we will talk about the 4th of July next time we're on, and possibly the 6th of June. So that could be tomorrow. It could be Monday. No, it won't be Monday. It could be tomorrow, or actually, what day? It's Saturday, right? Yeah. It could be tomorrow, or it could be another day. It could be tomorrow or Tuesday. No, it won't be Tuesday either. It's going to have to be tomorrow, I think. I'll have to speak to my secretary, and we'll sort it out. But I'll keep you updated anyway, right? So, hey, like I say, do not live in fear. Don't do it. Don't buy it. Don't let anybody get in your way. Nobody gets in your way. Nobody. And like I always say, no matter what, no matter where, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I see the bad moon horizon. I see trouble on the way. I see Earth